If you're a Shopify business owner making 300,000 Rand or more per month, you're going to want to watch this. So I'm going to show you exactly how we added over 1 million Rand in track revenue to our client's business in less than 30 days of working with them. This grew their business by 69%, and we only spent 50,000 Rand on their advertising. So to get into that, this is the business that I'm referring to. As you can see, we are 69% above last month's numbers. Now, as we enter this month-end period that we're currently in, this gap is only being widened day on day. Now, the main vehicle with which we did that was, of course, Facebook ads. Over here, you can see we spent 64,000 Rand. Worth mentioning is 14,000 of that was ultimately spent on the retail side of the business, the actual physical stores. Whereas 50,000 Rand, as you can see in these two campaigns, were ultimately allocated to conversion campaigns. From that 64,000 Rand, you can see over here, we took out over 750,000 Rand. As for the remaining 300,000 Rand, that was all done through emails. While this company did have email flows in place, we just looked at it, expanded on it, really fixed their copy, and we did over 250,000 Rand more on their emails compared to last month. So that's the million Rand. And you may be wondering, how do we go about doing this? So we did all of this by plugging a completely hands-off scaling machine into their business. And while expertise definitely helps with what we do here, it can all be reduced to a simple 5-pillar approach. I realized my face went missing there, but I'm back. So to get right into it, a great starting point for any online business looking to grow their company would be to analyze and strategize. Now, what we're doing here is looking at what you're doing holistically as a business. More specifically, what are you doing well? What can be improved on? And in some cases, what are you not doing at all? In looking at pillars 2 to 5, these are the respective considerations that we're paying the most attention to. Keep this in mind. And what you want to do is have a strategic approach. What is the biggest opportunity based on the analysis, and start to that effect. So to get right into that, we have got pillar 2 over here, conversion rate optimization. This is a great starting point for any company looking to grow their business. What I found to be true is this is heavily overlooked by a lot of online business owners, in that they get a website up, it looks great, it feels great, and they completely forget about it. Now, when it comes to growing their company, your typical business owner is looking everywhere but the website. But what a lot of people aren't doing is looking at the very vehicle that is responsible for how aggressively you are converting strangers into clients, and that's the website. So the maths here is quite simple. If you've got 100 people coming to your website at 1% conversion rate, the easiest ways to double your sales is to ultimately double that conversion rate. And what you want to be thinking about here is, more importantly, the feel of the website from a copy perspective. Does it hit those desire points? Does it hit those pain points that you are ultimately speaking to on the ad front, to have a continuation of that prospective client's intent? Then over and above that, there's a lot of tricks and levers that you can ultimately pull from an average order value perspective to increase how much you are taking from your client. Now, this is where you need to be thinking, how, from the current amount of traffic being sent to my website, how can I make more money? And a big part of that, and I make this its own pillar given the importance of it, is emails. So, we subcategorize this, but by all means, this does fall part of your conversion rate optimization. What I'm trying to do here is just give effect to the importance. So emails is a huge pillar that any business can pull. As you can see, looking at the client that we're speaking to in this video, we added an additional 250,000 Rand to their monthly earnings organically, by simply focusing on their emails. And what you want to do here is firstly just ensure you've got the right structure in place. You are hitting people and you are actively in their face after they've provided you with your information, not only from a lead acquisition perspective, but also an abandoned cart perspective. These are your two most important flows. Then thereafter, you really want to, speak to your target audience in that email, which gets me to point 5. But before I do get there, let's speak lightly to this. The words you use are very, very important. And you really want to focus on delivering something special, something relatable, something that makes your client feel welcome with whatever objective that your respective email flow has. Thereafter, my absolute passion in life, paid media. So this is just the different platforms on which you are currently advertising and how you are advertising on those platforms. So this can be divided into 2 different sections. Firstly, ad creatives, and then later on, I'll get into ad structures. So from the ad creative side of things, very simply, if you listen to what I'm saying here and implement it correctly, you are going to see reduced costs associated with your ads. So as a starting point, stop making your ads look like ads. I'm not going to get into the reasoning here, but you are on a content consumption platform. And what we found to be true through extensive testing is you do not want your ads to look like ads. Point 2, and test some more. No matter what scale a client that we onboard here at Convertico is playing at, this is always one of our first pieces of advice. What separates the top 5% of e-commerce stores from the bottom 95% is they are testing at a rate that is extremely aggressive compared to that bottom 95%. If you just think about it logically, over and above the opportunity of testing different ad angles and finding new target audiences, Facebook is a content platform. And by feeding the beast that Facebook is with content, you are going to get better placement. So increase your testing over there. And lastly, point 3 on the ad creative side of things. In an age where targeting on advertising platforms is more irrelevant than ever, it's really up to your creative and your copywriting to ensure that your creative is hitting the right target audience. So from a starting point, ensure that you're doing that, and then also realize that the creatives in themselves are a great opportunity for you to expand and hit different target audiences. So to explain that with reference to an example, I've got a business that's an online business that is a clothing peg, and our main selling point with that brand is to play around the notion of no more broken clothing pegs. Given our product is extremely durable, it really speaks well to those who are fed up with constantly repurchasing clothing pegs that are only going to break. Now, to expand that target audience, what we will do, for example, is take a different ad creative angle in its entirety. So instead of focusing on that no more broken clothing peg audience and who would associate with that, we can say, we produce the Incredipeg right here in South Africa, and it's made entirely from recycled plastic. Every month, we are taking 2 tons of plastic out of the ground and putting this bad boy on your line. Now, I absolutely butchered that just running through it in my head, but that is speaking to an entirely different target audience, in that now the person that is looking out for the planet, the greenies, are relating to your post, and you are tapping into a new target audience accordingly. Okay, now on the other side of things, ad structures. Now there's 1,001 things you can do here, but one of the most overlooked practices that I have seen based on working with dozens of businesses at this point is how you separate your testing creatives from your central creatives. So I'm not going to get into the details. I feel as if this point alone will do great for your business, but at no point at any time in your advertising journey should you be bringing untested creatives into your winning campaign. What a winning campaign is past proven ads that you compile into a campaign, and you only disrupt it once you're certain you have another ad creative. Facebook's unpredictable enough. Our job as media buyers is to ultimately bring that predictability to the table. And the way in which we do that is by scientifically structuring your account and acting on the data. So what I mean by separating a winning environment from a testing environment is, from a very high level, let's say you have a campaign that's running currently and treating you very well. All the ad creatives therein are performing phenomenally. That is what you call your winning creative. Now, what a lot of people will do is literally bring a test into that creative, disrupt that entire campaign in its entirety, and hope for the best, because this creative is untested. What I challenge you to do is, instead of doing that, add a second campaign very simply and do your testing therein on a reduced budget of your total spend. From there, look at the data and really determine, is this a winning creative compared to that of your best performing creatives? And if it is, the next step is to take that ad creative and put it into the winning campaign. Now, what you're going to be doing here is you're going to be disrupting the winning campaign a lot less. And in having a testing environment, you can test until your heart is content, with no concerns of ultimately messing with the efficiency. Okay, so lastly and very importantly, your words or copywriting. This is a very big lever you could pull as a business owner right now in the online space. Now, I've already taken enough of your time, so I'm going to get right into it and drop the secret sauce on the table. Through extensive testing, we have found, and this is working for pretty much all of our clients across the board right now, is that long format copy is in. And what you really want to focus on is structuring your copy accordingly. Having that hook, grabbing that attention, having the body, because we're speaking to long format, constantly reiterating why we deserve their attention, and then ultimately the call to action. And if you look at just about any copywriting that's currently working for your ad creatives, what you can do is look at that, reconstruct it in an easily digestible but long format way, and you're going to be seeing increased results from that. So that is it from my side. Worth mentioning, this is everything we did to add an additional R1 million in revenue to our clients' results. And we are well on track to do an additional 200% on those numbers as we enter the new month, depending on what our client is willing to spend. So if you want to learn more about how this all works or how we help our clients achieve such great results like this, we have got a completely free strategy call in place. You can go ahead and click the link below. and book one of those calls with my team. For every one of our clients, I am actually the person running through your brand before you hop on that call, and we're actually going to be strategizing exactly how we would go about growing your business if we were the business owner. But for now, I'll see you on the other side. Cheers.